Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
All right, Dave.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
My name is David Bell,
I'm Tom Ryman.
And I'm Adam Ganser.
and we just watched...
Yeah.
It was all a lie!
The man who proved raptors can follow orders. You never thought how many millions a trained predator might be worth? They're gonna sell them.
Not blue. They need it for something else.
What is that thing? They made it.
This is the most dangerous creature that ever walked the earth.
I felt like we were part of a fallen kingdom whilst watching
That
it.
title makes me want a movie about political intrigue and dinosaurs. Like a kingdom, like Game of Thrones, only everybody's a dinosaur.
That movie...
I think they're talking about the franchise, right?
Well, I think this whole movie's about the franchise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I think this movie is literally about the movies.
Okay, well, let's
Let's get into that.
Okay.
let's all start by stating our thoughts,
Right.
our feelings about this movie.
Okay.
Well, we were the rudest
you were to say
assholes
this is good-
ever in the theater.
Or
Yeah.
bad.
I would say, and I said this to you gentlemen already, this is, without hyperbole, one of the worst films I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah, I can't think of 8 films or more that I've seen that are worse.
Yeah.
Like, that I've seen in the theater.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. I saw
Like-
Pokemon 2000 in the theater.
Yeah.
That was an eye gouge.
Sure.
This is pretty close to that.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
Island of Dr. Moreau and Gone Fishing.
I
and
did too.
Speed 2.
I did
And-
see Speed 2.
Like you said, we were being, I guess, the rudest motherfuckers in the theater. Mm-hmm. But I was embarrassed for the theater because I never seen such a bad movie get cheers.
Yeah.
And I think people are gonna feel very silly.
It was funny because it was a
Very
mostly full theater, but when the cheers and the clapping happened, it was maybe like 6 people.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was like those people were really trying
Yeah,
to
that's
enjoy
true.
this movie.
I just wanted Dave to be walking around with a clipboard writing down that they did it and then like later on reminding them years
Yeah, well,
from now.
this is one
I'm
of
going to
those-
send you a postcard.
This
You
was-
cheered.
in 3 years.
Yeah, this was the same with the first Jurassic World. Is I felt angry at the audience because it was like, "What are you doing? Like, can't you see this is a bad movie? You're like, this is." They took like a good film, and then they exploited it, and they're using that goodwill to make you clap right now, even though they put no effort into the film.
Yeah, it was not. I would not call that movie a passion project for anyone involved.
Right.
No, this movie makes Jurassic World look like the fucking Godfather.
Well, I'll give this movie. I'll give this movie one thing that Jurassic World didn't have is I thought this movie was shot better. Jurassic World, the first one, shoots the dinosaurs like they're toys.
This one shoots the dinosaurs.
Also-
like we're not supposed to give a shit about them.
I disagree. I think this was a really poorly shot and directed movie. I really did.
Okay.
The entire time.
That's fair. I mean, it was a badly written movie for sure. It was
Yes.
a badly made movie.
I felt like they were so not. This movie so didn't care about showing you dinosaurs.
Yes, a lot of it was about trucks.
Yeah,
There was a very large truck.
There's a
part
lot
of
of
the movie.
trucks.
Like a 30 minutes of trucks.
There's also a good 30-minute auction sequence.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you were
God.
gearing up for that.
Oh man, this
I
movie.
hope people don't like.
There's-
I'm pleading with the public to
There's-
see this movie for what it is.
Like,
see past
okay,
the
this is-
dinosaurs.
For an example, what I'm
Oh,
talking
God.
about, when they finally get to the island, we see one of the characters get out and see a brachiosaurus.
Yes.
We don't really see it from her point of view because it's like a
there's one
wide shot.
They do one shot.
And there's one that's like a low angle
Yeah.
looking up at it.
Yeah.
Which I would say that's why I was saying it's marginally better than Jurassic World. Jurassic World did not even attempt that.
But see,
like there were a few shots that were like, oh, okay, they're looking at the dinosaurs from the ground, from like eye level. For the most part, though, they did not they didn't do it, but they did it more than the first movie. Like the scene where the stupid ball that somehow works still
Right.
falls into the water.
Right.
They do that oneer from the perspective of inside, and it was like
That was the coolest part of the
yeah,
movie.
and it was like, okay, the director realized, okay, this is more, the tension's better if we stay with the characters inside the ball. The first movie, when they had a ball sequence, did not do that.
Right.
They did these huge wide shots looking down at the dinosaurs attacking it. Like
And
they
kicking
were
it
toys.
around, yeah.
Yeah, and it's that. It was like, okay, you figured out a little bit.
It's funny. So I understand your criticism there, and I don't disagree with anything you said, except for the cynical part of me as I was watching the dome or whatever we call that fucking ball.
The bubble, yeah,
The
sure.
bubble.
Gyro.
The gyrosphere.
That giant Children of Men-esque wonder that goes on for a whole minute during that sequence, or maybe 5. It was like, this would be a pretty good ride.
Yeah.
Pretty good Universal Studios ride.
Also,
I would bet a pretty serious amount of money that's what we get. Is we get a ride
Right.
of that dome.
Probably.
It's very similar to that shot.
Also, I think Warners have become this thing where like enough people have gone to film school and they make it and they need to do a oneer, and that doesn't make them bad. But there was that great Every Frame of Painting about the Spielberg oneer, where it was just like these really shot for efficiency oneers
Right.
that he would even cut during sometimes. And like there's a instinct now to be like, look how great this oneer is, which is in this. It was a good oneer, but it was also in the back of my head. It was like, yeah, this is all in a green screen. Like it's
Right, it's
not-
all fake,
Yeah,
you know.
it didn't take any effort.
It feels fake in.
I'm sure the actors,
You
with
get
the water going.
you
in,
get
I'm sure
something
they had-
out of it though when it's
Yeah.
a scene like that
Yeah.
it stayed focused on them. So
Yeah.
it, like too many cuts and like removing you from
Yeah.
the bubble would ruin the tension.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about the oneer. I'm saying that.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Where it's
they're
like
just-
just doing a oneer now for some people. It's like, oh, look at that, isn't that great? It's like, well, no.
Yeah.
We all have Inarritu
Make a good movie, too.
fever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that guy has really shaped the landscape now.
Here's the big question that I wanted to ask you guys.
Okay.
This is a bad movie.
That's not a question.
When it gets to the part where the islands they're leaving the island and looking back at the Brachiosaurus, which is getting consumed by fire, and that's just delightful.
I wish it could have spoken words.
Right.
Why?
Yeah, please. But I'm Herman. You can still fit me on your boat. Please.
This lava's not that fast. God.
Like Vesuvius consuming that thing. At that point, like, it was like right around that point that, like I was thinking to myself the whole time, this is a bad movie. And then like that. My question is, why wasn't it working? Because I know it wasn't working, but like, why wasn't anything working?
I think the answer is it's the same. And I keep comparing these films to the Star Wars prequels, and one of the reasons why is it doesn't work on a very fundamental writing and filmmaking sense. For example, when that island was burning and they're watching it, the question I was thinking is, wasn't there a second island?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
The plot of this movie is the plot of the Lost World
Yeah,
Jurassic
and the plot
Park.
of this movie completely ignores.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the whole plot is a plot hole because the idea is that the original island's getting killed by a volcano and they're acting like this is the last chance to get these creatures. But the Lost World was all about how there was a second island with plenty of these creatures on
and
it.
it ends with it being an ecosystem. Like, that's the whole point of that movie.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was like there's fundamental problems with this movie that make it stupid.
I got
scene by scene. We
some
could
heat
probably
on
go.
this. I got some heat on this.
Okay.
The reason is that none of your protagonists do anything. None
This
of
is-
them.
yes.
They have no active role in the major thesis or plot of
Any
this movie.
part of the movie, really.
They felt tacked on because
Well, they're the lens through which we view the actual movers and
Right.
shakers of this movie, which are the villains and the dinosaurs. Those are the two two groups
Right.
that are doing things.
there's also a very compelling main character in this film that isn't the lead character, and I guess
who's
we'll
that
skip
in your
around.
mind?
It's the little girl.
Yeah,
When I
she's
first
also a
saw-
dinosaur.
Yeah, when I first saw the little
She's a clone,
spoilers,
yeah.
she's a dinosaur. When I first saw the little girl, I first thought like, oh god, they're doing again the prequel thing. They're tacking on a little kid. By the end, I was like, wait, why didn't we tell her
that
story?
should have been a major plot point. She was a fucking clone.
Well, all right, we should have gotten rid of.
If you're going to take this movie in that direction,
yeah,
it's a natural question to bring up in this franchise.
Yeah. Well, you get rid of Chris Pratt. You get rid of what's her name?
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
She was not good in this.
Get rid of those characters. They had nothing to do with the main plot. You start it as this little girl in a mansion with from her perspective, who loves dinosaurs, slowly discovering that it's a dinosaur mansion, a dinosaur dungeon that she lives in, which is dumb. But at least it's something. You do the auction, you do that whole sequence, and her learning, and then the question of her letting them out at the end, like that. That was the main story you could have done.
That's the solo, of
right?
This
like
franchise.
It's not the best story, but it was at least a focused story.
Yeah, you could have done something with. They just dance around it, where it's like she has to be minded constantly. She's a prisoner of the house,
right.
And you could have like really built on that and have her like, oh, because she's a clone of James Cromwell's dead daughter, and so she's not allowed to leave, and so that would have had her decision to doom the planet by letting all these dinosaurs out. So feel more impactful.
Yeah, either there's that movie, and then there's the movie between Chris Pratt and Blue, which is like about the idea of like, oh, these are monsters, but like he raised it. Like there were some ideas there, but none of them amounted to a full movie, like a full.
No, that one
story.
That should have been a B story, like the second story. There should have been one main story, and then the Blue and Chris Pratt should have been a B story, but it wasn't. There was too many to do that. The little girl is interesting because I've been saying this on your podcast in various formats, but like we're starting to see any time that a film executive or whoever thinks that they want kids to care about a thing, they put a kid in a movie.
Yes,
and like the kid becomes a super kid. Like, too smart, too precocious, too capable.
It started with Star Wars. It started with the idea of, like, we need to market this for kids. Let's put a kid in it.
Right.
And it's like, no, that's never been a thing you need to do. Like,
well, kids like things that don't have kids in it. Like, it's a thing we've talked about before. And in this case, the kid is actually a dinosaur. And I'm not using that metaphorically. Like, like she shares the same genetic history as these dinosaurs and makes a key decision later.
Yeah.
That only a dinosaur could make.
Yeah,
you know?
She's in on it. She's the villain. Yeah,
yeah, and seriously,
a real scoundrel.
It would be so great if she pressed that button, they turned and looked at her, and she just went and ran off.
Or that we just found another whole dungeon. Like she pushes button, a whole other dungeon full
of children,
weird mutated versions of the little girl. Are there? You know,
like all the Ripley clones.
Yeah, there's.
But for me, all right, there's the broad plot stuff, which was some of it was bad, some of it was like I can sort of see something from it.
Yeah.
Well, my biggest problem with this movie was scene by scene, was just that it was a bad movie, like that. I want to start from the beginning because just to like I started watching the film in good faith. They had that submarine scene, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
It kind of wasn't.
And I was trying to be like, "Okay, how are they shooting this? Pay attention, see if they made any improvements."
Right.
And then they cut off the thing and they throw it up with the buoy, and I'm like, "This is kind of dumb." Like, why are they cutting off the tooth and then like sending it up?
I'm sorry, you say buoy, but it's actually the fucking air balloon from Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes,
that's what that goddamn thing is.
And then there's the helicopter guys, and then they have, and then the hacker guy is like working on the door, and I guess I should back up and say there's a door that goes into the lagoon of Jurassic World that the submarine's going through.
Yeah,
and that's when Tom, you turned to me and whispered, "Why is there a door?" And I was like, oh shit, this movie's dumb. Like it was that.
Why the fuck is there a door?
Like that's stupid.
Just leading out to the ocean for Crocodilesaurus to get out.
Yeah, that
door would never be there.
And that's when it became a series of like death by 1,000 little cuts. Where like then later they have the shot of the technician.
That's a big fucking problem.
All right, that's true. That's a good
the
point.
King Kong problem.
Yeah.
Why is that door?
Why is that door there?
When you say 1,000 little cuts, you haven't.
Okay.
Like there's like 4 other big problems with the scene, and I don't want to do this for every scene.
It's death by 1,000 big cuts, but like I just want to use this first scene as an example, and then the T-Rex is behind the guy, and they have a cool shot, the lightning.
That was
and
cool.
the T-Rex
was
was
fine.
like, oh, that's cool. You're bringing me back.
They repeat
movie.
it too much.
And then the helicopter guys are like waving for this technician, like you need to come back in, and he stands there for like a minute, just going, I don't know what you're saying to me. I'm wearing headphones. It was like, okay,
Yeah,
movie,
and
you're bad again.
they're clearly
very
waving him like, come on.
And so it was just like,
It
this
brings
is a
up
bad
four
movie.
other questions. One, why the fuck are the walkie-talkies so undependable in this like universe? Like, because sometimes they can go all the way through fucking water in the middle of a hurricane,
Right.
And they can hear each other crystal clear.
Yeah.
And then when it comes time to warn somebody about the T-Rex,
Not
they
working.
can't hear. Yeah,
Right.
not working.
Cuts
Number
out.
2, why is this man conducting this operation in the rain outside?
Outside, he's
Why
doing
is
it
that
on a
happening?
he's
In a
doing it on a
thunderstorm, yeah.
he's doing it on a data pad.
Yes.
He could be in the helicopter doing
A lot
it.
of this
course.
film, there's a part skipping ahead where the evil special mutant dinosaur is in that rich
which
person
is not
museum.
introduced until Act 3.
Yes, it's in that
It's
stupid
introduced
museum.
in Act 2.
They talk about it, yeah.
Yeah.
You see it reaches out.
Yes.
That's true.
And Chris Pratt and everybody are trying to get away from it, and Chris Pratt turns off the lights.
Yeah,
And
why?
I was like,
What's
so
the plan?
You're just trying to make it worse on yourself. There's a lot of scenes like that where
Yeah.
the characters like willingly make the situation worse.
Right.
Like when they go to pick up Blue, they're like,
Right.
okay, just you and me, let's go. And it's like, you're in a fucking dinosaur island. You've never done anything like this before. Like every Jurassic Park, it's like, oh, we're gonna go fucking deal with some dinosaurs. Let's bring a fucking small army. And in this one case, they're like, yeah, let's bring like 5 people.
Right.
And then let's all split up.
Right.
And it's like you're just creating a problem for yourself right now.
I mean, we all used to work at Cracked, right? And I feel like Cracked's whole thing was like breaking down movie logic to a level where it's like, well, this is a movie. Like, what the fuck you want?
Right.
This movie suffers from like, no, nobody in it has
Makes a
plan
logical
of any,
decision, yeah.
any kind, like
Right.
no plan at all.
Like
and
why are the 2 millennials on this journey at all?
no,
Yeah,
why are
no
they
reason.
there?
No
why
reason.
is Chris Pratt? Like they use him
Chris
sort
Pratt,
of as
they
bait.
need- yes,
but
they
why
use him
not
as
just
bait.
use bait? Like why not just use Bryce Dallas Howard's hand and then find where Blue is and then
Right.
just put anything out there
Right.
and use them as bait? They're in here because the movie needed them
Yes.
to be in.
Yeah.
the movie.
The millennials were the worst part
Yes.
of it, though.
They were very terrible.
because they were both too cute and too hip, and they were not funny, and they had no reason to be on the journey at all. Like they didn't even
did
bother
it-
giving you a line for that.
They pulled that in Jurassic World, the first one as well, where they have these like hip millennial characters.
They
Because
were worse
again,
in that movie,
it's
I
that
thought.
producer's like, okay, but we need millennials to see it too.
Right.
Let's put millennials in
Yes.
there. There was a lot of moments that I thought like, oh, a producer yelled that out. Like,
yeah.
we
like,
need him down to earth. Let's have him
like,
build a cabin.
like as so yeah, having to build a cabin like fucking
That was like a parody.
Gene Hackman and Unforgiven,
I gotta
just
tell
building
you,
a cabin.
I wouldn't have minded a whole act of just seeing how that cabin's progressing. Just keep cutting back
just,
to it.
just building a cabin.
Doesn't seem like that varnish is going to take,
like,
buddy.
And it's like sundown. Like it's
Yeah.
not even a good time to be working on a cabin.
No, it's the worst time.
Well, he
to work on
also
a
had
cabin.
his like back turned to
Yeah.
her in this like stupid like cinematic.
Well,
knew she was
all right.
coming.
right?
Yeah,
come
like
on.
there's so like right after another, we get that goofy opening sequence with the King Kong gate that lets the Mosasaurus out.
Is that what it's actually called?
It's called a Mosasaurus.
I'm not
yeah.
calling it that. I'm calling it like Crococeratops or whatever.
Crocosaurus, yeah. Then it leads into the sweatiest newscast. Like
Oh my
anytime,
God.
Yeah,
anytime your film begins with a newscast or has a newscast dispensing a whole lot of plot for you to digest, that's a bad sign.
And it's a
and then it
newscast.
immediately cuts to Ian Malcolm in a Senate hearing. You could have had all of that information in the Senate hearing.
Yeah.
Because
That
everything they
would've been
tell us was like getting us up to speed on where we're at and how this is like the dinosaurs being brought back or not being rescued from this volcanic island is like a huge government question.
And it
that
was-
could have all been said by the
Yeah.
senators in the hearing.
And the
We
newscast.
don't need that.
we also
Senate
didn't need
hearing.
that hearing.
Yeah.
We didn't need it at all.
No.
There's no crisis for the government. Like, no, the U.S. government's not going to give a fuck about some Costa Rican island, dinosaurs or not.
I think-
that's not happening.
I think they knew they didn't need it, and it was just dependent on if they could get Jeff Goldblum.
yes.
Yeah.
If
I
they
agree.
couldn't get Jeff Goldblum, they probably wouldn't have had that scene.
And then
agree.
it goes from that scene to show us Claire, who's now the head of this Save the Dinosaurs.
Why?
She's completely opposite to what her
Yes.
character was in Jurassic
Yes.
World.
Exactly.
Like where,
Oh,
and they
but
never
she's
challenge
not
her
wearing
on it.
heels anymore, as the
They
film
really focus
keeps
on that.
showing us. They
Look at
keep
how
showing,
she's wearing boots
Look,
and
look.
not heels.
Look, we're
But like
also,
they
this
never.
director had a shoe fetish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it was weird.
There's a lot of little.
Yeah.
That little girl's feet were. in
Yes,
it.
that little girl's feet were in it a lot. I thought the same.
I didn't notice this.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fascinating.
Also, that guy got. And I'm sorry, but like that guy got real tight on those close-ups in a way that was uncomfortable a lot.
Oh,
Like
man.
he was like, it was like, dude, get away from him. Like we don't need to.
I
be
gotta
this
watch
close.
that again.
It's creepy.
No, sorry, I don't have to watch this again for that. But
But yeah, I was. Claire's character in this film is in a completely different position from the first one, and it's never challenged or addressed. Like we don't learn how she got to. We have to save all the dinosaurs.
especially since at the end of the last film, she doesn't have an arc. She doesn't really.
No.
She doesn't realize, oh, I did all this. Like,
No.
she doesn't. She's John Hammond in that one. And they tried to do the
Yes.
Hammond thing because it is Hammond in. So that's the thing. It's Hammond in Jurassic in the Lost World is the same thing. He's like, we have to protect them. The difference is John Hammond in that is still seen as like dumb. Like it's still like
He's
still like foolish.
well, yeah, and he's
And
and
kind
he's-
of- he
he's
tricks people.
manipulative.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's again where they keep making her Hammond, but they keep forgetting that Hammond wasn't like the good guy.
Yeah.
And in fact,
It's like you keep forgetting that we don't hate Hammond because he's
Right.
Jolly Richard Attenborough, but he's like fucking wrong.
right,
and, like,
yeah.
harms people
Which
with his
was
wrongness.
One of the best things about the original Jurassic Park is I would say like, no, I guess Nedry, but like there's no villains who are just wringing their hands. Like Nedry's
not
a
even.
disgruntled employee.
Yeah.
In this one, there's like literally Bond villains.
yeah,
yes, a bunch of
literal
them.
Bond.
And
villains.
that, I want to say this before we keep going is that I've heard like a common defense I hear is people thinking of the Jurassic Park like the franchise as being like monster movies, and it's just like, yeah, it's just fun. But like the first Jurassic Park is like a really well-made, intelligent film,
yeah,
and that's why I'm so angry with
The
these
first
movies.
Jurassic Park had like actually captured the sense of wonder.
Yeah,
Like the reason there are kids in that movie, in that case, is because we all felt the way those kids do
Yeah.
about dinosaurs at that point. We'd never seen them realistically in movies.
And so
now it's like they're just fucking dinosaurs plus goblins plus werewolves
Yeah.
plus it's like who cares?
and
you
it's
know?
it's just one of the most well-crafted movies like of our generation. I feel like the way, like it's just such a good movie. It's
Well,
just
it has-
such a
it
bummer
has,
to
like,
see such a
characters with
sloppy
arcs.
fucking film. Yeah,
like
it's
yeah.
that are
it's
meaningful.
also scaled down. It's not
Yeah.
it's not as epic. It's at the
Yeah,
right
it's super
scale.
tight.
It's a
That's
pretty
what- that's
like,
one of the big things
tight,
about it,
like
yeah.
personal story.
Yes.
like
It skips around. This movie, it wasn't clear. Like
this
nobody
movie does
needed
both,
to.
and it's
Yes, nobody needed
Yeah.
to be anywhere they were in this
No.
movie. Like for instance, if you just take a second and think about like what is the like nobody was told, like Claire was never told, for instance, like how they were going to capture the dinosaurs.
Right.
We have no idea how they're going to do that, and it's
Right.
like that's a huge criteria.
We just
Don't
see
you wanna
we just
know?
see them taking off with T-Rex.
Well, I laughed my ass
Right.
off when that happened.
fucking funny.
Oh, their
laughed
whole
real
whole
That was that whole thing was a major plot point of the Lost
It
World.
sure
Is
was.
how are they going to catch this T-Rex?
Right, and then they just kind of did it.
They're
with
just
a
holding it
helicopter.
like a disobedient cat. Like its legs are dangling and it's just going
Yeah, it was
like in the air.
Yeah.
No, it was
Yeah.
in like the cage. The other one was like
Oh, right,
dangling
right.
like the cat.
Yeah.
But,
well, the
okay.
dinosaurs got real silly in this movie, by the way.
One of them
A number
winks
of
at the
times.
camera.
And
There's a smile
smiles.
and wink at the camera.
Yeah.
The fucking werewolf
Which,
dinosaur.
yeah, went
Yeah.
back to one of my big problems with the first Jurassic
Raptor, yeah.
World is like there's a scene where the raptors and the T-Rex like talk to each other
Yeah, yeah.
and then go their separate ways, and I was like,
That's the first
like
one,
a
yeah.
fucking cartoon,
Right.
And then this just ramped it up, and it's
Sure
it's,
did.
They're like again, they seem to completely forget why we liked the first movie.
It's clear this movie has no idea what anybody wants from it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
well,
everybody
it
seemed
was
to be-
actually two movies, in my opinion. I think the first movie is over once they leave the island. Like, that's a whole
It's
movie.
very abrupt.
Yeah, because I think that...
it's
the-
abrupt,
the-
but it also comes with like 20 minutes of trucks. Remember the trucks? There's a big.
Well, I'm just thinking. I'm just
lot
thinking
of
of they get
trucks and
there,
shots.
they get set up in the little facility. So she turns
Right.
on the track and like, okay, Chris Pratt, go out, and he
Right.
goes out, and then Ted Levine immediately rolls on them,
Yeah.
Yes,
and
it's
then they
so
immediately
dumb.
lock
Yeah.
them in the facility. I was like,
It's
wow,
so dumb. Why did they bring them?
I don't
It doesn't
know.
make any
They
sense.
immediately
And why roll on him right
They
there?
Because now you have to
immediately
murder
betray
human
them.
beings to
Yeah.
pull
Yeah.
this plan off.
It's a little
That's
little
insane.
hard to cover up,
so
man.
Fucking
Yeah.
weird. Because all right, you brought up like what she must have asked what the plan was. Like so, just going back, I assume everybody listening to this has seen it at this point. But if
One
you-
would hope.
yeah. But like Claire's convinced to go to the island to help this rich guy catch things.
Right.
And then she never asks. She just goes with Ted Levine.
Yeah, never knows how it's going to happen at all.
They go into that weird bunker, and then they decide to take like 2 of them to go catch Blue. Right. The moment they catch Blue, Ted Levine, just shoots Chris Pratt with a fucking
dart gun. Yeah.
Yeah. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, he turns evil immediately and completely.
Yeah.
Like goes from 0 to 100 evil.
Yeah. And then another one of my favorite moments is when they're in the bunker and the doors close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're locked in. And they're trying to get out and stuff. And then they look down the tube and they hear like a roar later. And they're like, where's that tube go? And they're like, I think to the outside. And it's like, okay, so you're not locked in.
Yeah.
Like,
right, walk down the tube, bro. What are you
How'd
doing?
that dinosaur get in there, bro?
And it's like, oh, that's the door to the outside. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, what the
And they
fuck
had like a
is this?
curtain of lava that's dripping down
And then they
that
take
hits
that
the
lava.
dinosaur
Lava.
several times.
Lava in
It hits him
movies.
right on the top of his head, and he's just like, "Brr," and
I feel like movies shouldn't be allowed to use lava.
Yeah.
I feel like that should just be outlawed. It's like you don't know what you're doing with lava.
Yes,
you
the
can't,
government-
you can't handle it.
Should get involved. I keep saying
and
this.
take movies away from studios.
I just
like
want to
this.
say, I just want to finish. So the first movie ends at the midpoint with Herman the Brachiosaur dying mournfully on the dock, right? Like, please, not fit me. I could make it.
I could probably walk to shore. I'm so tall.
Watch the sadness of my silhouette as you leave. Anyway, that's the they could have stretched that out, made a whole
Like
story.
Willem Dafoe in Platoon.
Right. Well, it was. Just holding this big tree trunks up.
He does. He stands up and does a pose.
Oh my
leaving.
God.
If they'd only put a headband around his fucking eyes,
Yeah.
it'd be so good. Well, I don't know if we're gonna top that. But like seriously, there could have been a movie there. They could have been like, oh, we're gonna actually be betrayed by these conservationists. Oh, do I want to save these dinosaurs if it means captivity? That's one movie.
The first
Second
trailer
movie-
made it seem like that was the movie.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't
And
show any
you
of
could
the-
do all that mansion shit like on a facility on the
Yes,
island.
for sure. Second movie is Thomas Crown Affair, but with dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is what it needed to be.
Which-
like, just they steal a dinosaur because they're getting sold. Like, that's,
I was a little charmed by that idea. That felt like a Jurassic Park like comic that would come out or something.
Yeah.
And so it was just like if they had scaled down that story and made it again from the little girl's perspective,
That's what I don't want.
where she would like, oh okay.
I don't want that.
See, I wanted like almost like a haunted house, like a monster house story, where she slowly realizes that
I know what
she
you
has
wanted.
dinosaurs in her basement. And one of them's like a demon dinosaur, and then you do like the
Yeah,
auction
just
and the
fucking
weird.
hellsaurs.
Like,
You know what? That sounds like a great movie that I wouldn't watch, but I that is a good idea for a
like
movie.
yeah, if it, like that idea of let's tell smaller stories in the Jurassic
Yes.
Park universe, sure. But they can't really do that.
well,
I disagree. I think
maybe
they can.
now we can. Like
This-
the
this
most
sets that up.
the most interesting thing about this movie is how it ends.
Yeah,
Right.
Or that now dinosaurs are just loose in America.
It's
Yeah.
sort of the opposite of
That-
Infinity War.
Here's the thing. That ending pissed me off for one reason is that they've blackmailed everybody into seeing a third. Like it's
Yes.
that thing where these movies are bad and we should stop making bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
We should stop rewarding bad movies just because a bad movie has dinosaurs in it. Doesn't mean you should watch it. But everybody will, and it has like a 55 critics on Rotten Tomatoes. I guarantee
That
it'll
is-
have like an 85, 90
That is baffling
audience
to me
score.
how any critic saw this and was like,
Yeah.
2.5
Well,
stars.
most of them said it was bad, but like the audience is going to eat this shit up, and
I
then
don't
that
think they
ending's
are.
going to happen, and people are going to be like, "Oh, I have to see the third one," and then everybody will have to see the
I
third
don't really
one.
think it will because again, they're like, yeah, they were cheers and clapping from like 6 people.
I mean, I thought
and they were trying
I
to
thought
counterbalance
after-
us being assholes.
I guess I thought after Jurassic World that we were done, and then this came out. Like that's the thing is like. I know Jurassic World make a shitload of money though.
Right.
Like I don't see why this one won't.
Because Jurassic World had about almost 20 years of no Jurassic Park movies
Right, it was a
behind
whole
it. So it came surfing in on that 2 decades of nostalgia and goodwill and stuff.
Your hope is Solo. Solo is your hope. Like this week, there was news announced that they are discontinuing
I know.
all those Star Wars movies that are not main story movies, except for the ones with Ryan Johnson,
Right.
to like rethink things. we're gonna get that with Jurassic World.
I know.
They're gonna tire us. Like, I don't want to see pterodactyls doing a show in
we,
Vegas.
though?
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, we waited 7 minutes for the after credit sequence, which is a brief shot of pterodactyls landing in front of, I guess, was that the Mirage?
Yeah.
And the other
Here's the
three
thing.
assholes who waited were happy about that. They were
Yeah.
like, "That sounds good." Like, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
But here's the thing:
Fuck
is I don't
you.
think it matters if there's even that big of an audience response, because they keep making bad Terminator films. Like they don't care what we think anymore either. Like they just keep chugging along.
When was the last Terminator film?
Genesis,
3
which
years
was
ago?
a very bad
3
movie.
years ago.
And before that, what was the last one?
Salvation, which was I think 2009,
9 or 10.
That's a while ago.
and then I think 2005
they keep trying to like.
and now they're announcing another one. They're going to do
really?
another. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is they keep chugging them out, and they keep getting worse and worse, and there's no stopping them because they're like, well, it's robots from the future. People are going to watch it, and they're right. There's a certain amount of people who will always go and see those fucking movies because what are they going to do? Not see them? What are you going to do? Not see a Terminator film? You fucking moron! Like you're going to see the fucking Terminator films. I'm talking to myself right
I was like,
now.
yeah, which side of the fence
No,
are
I'm
you
talking
on
to
here,
myself,
man?
and that's the same with Jurassic World. Is they're just like, yeah, remember that thing from your childhood? We're gonna fucking spleet it dry,
Yeah.
and you're gonna watch it, and we're gonna keep making it,
That's
and
where
it doesn't
I thought,
matter.
That's where I thought perhaps
That's why I'm so angry.
That's where I thought perhaps this movie does have one powerful thing to say, because the movie is fundamentally about selling the dinosaurs to people who should not have them, and like charging money even though it's evil and going to destroy everything.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, the dinosaurs end up getting out and free and can do whatever they want, which
Right.
is exactly what this movie is supposed to be. Like, it's literally a commentary about the movie. Like, that's what is going on in it. Like, it's so tired. And it
Yeah.
also borrows from every single other movie
Right.
to fuse together a shitty meta plot.
And
Like,
that-
it's a movie about itself. I can't, like, it blows my mind that we did, like,
I
fucking
mean,
ate that
the
up.
first movie was like that too, because the first movie, the premise was like, oh, people don't care about dinosaurs anymore, so we're gonna make this brand new one,
Right.
And it was like they're wrong. People like you just have to make dinosaurs interesting again. You don't have to.
yeah,
make
and
up
that
a
new
one.
dinosaur was a fucking demon that
Yeah.
marauds through the island and ruins everything.
Yeah.
Well, so is this new one this
Yeah,
time.
yeah, but
the
I-
werewolf fucking raptor.
That goddamn werewolf raptor. That
Oh,
was
God.
That was stupid.
Didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I didn't care for its, like, strange laser DNA
Right, that they
training.
introduce and then don't do it. Like the fact that it was relentlessly, it was pursuing the little girl like a serial killer, because
It
it,
really-
like it
and
leads,
creepily.
it, like yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like it like gently opens the door and it's like pulling back the thing.
Why
and
did it
after,
do that?
It came after her up the stairs like a goddamn moose.
It kept,
Yeah.
it
like
kept
crashing
leading-
into the walls and ripping the staircase down.
It kept leading with its, like, tender hooks.
Yeah.
Like, just like, are you there, little girl?
Like had
really
they
fucking weird.
they set up the system that this genetically modified werewolf dinosaur can be used to like target things, or you point a laser at it and then you give it like an audio cue and it's like, I'm killing that thing. Had they done that to the little girl before that point, that might have made all that make some kind of sense.
Yeah.
But
it's just
wasn't
like,
the
nope.
case. They do pay it off in quotation marks later. Bless you. When they're on the roof, and this baffled me so much. The werewolf monster is going after Chris Pratt. It's already going after him. It's trying to cross the fucking glass roof. Jesus, this movie.
Right.
The glass roof to get to Chris Pratt, and
Right.
then Bryce Dallas Howard like grabs the gun and like bangs it to get the thing's attention, and it turns around to go after her, and then she points the gun back at Chris Pratt, and it goes back after him, and it was like, well, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, if the idea was to make him go after Chris Pratt so he could fall through the thing, he was doing that. And then you got involved for some reason.
I honestly think you could do a podcast that was like 7 hours that was just
Breaking
moment
this down,
by moment
scene by
showing
scene,
how
yeah.
every single choice is wrong.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all wrong.
All the characters are incredibly stupid and do the
my
exact
God.
wrong thing
It's
every
chaos.
single time.
well, and that's why
Not even wrong, just like weird, like the
Illogical,
the part,
yeah, like,
the
it's
part,
like, what?
the villain with the elevator, where the elevator opens and he
Right,
runs
right,
in,
right.
and there's like people on the side, and so he like runs and grabs a woman.
Why does he do
and-
that?
Yeah, and throws her out.
Right.
and then she just starts screaming like a baby for some reason. I guess because she's a woman. Like that was their
werewolf raptor is messily eating Ted
But
Levine
she
in front of her
knows that's-
face.
She
What's
she sort
the
of
plan?
saw
What's
that
the
was
plan for the
happening, though.
ghoulish auctioneer when he takes that woman and tosses her out? He doesn't toss her out of the elevator.
I'm just arguing why someone would scream in that situation.
100%.
I don't know
But like
why
that
she
guy
would-
doesn't have a fucking plan either.
No.
Yeah.
It's like what?
But I don't know why she would scream because she's sitting there on the side and she knows something's happening. Like
There's
her instinct should be to just hide
Freeze.
again, like
Yeah.
or to freeze,
Yeah.
not to make all the noise in the world.
Sure.
and then
A sound that would bring a werewolf raptor right over
Yeah.
to you.
That's like
and again, it just
music
felt
to
like
werewolf
'cause
raptor's ears.
The script needed them to do these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, I just want to say, like, I think a better director could have made 90% of those decisions better. They could have made them all make sense.
Yeah, I think they could make them better by like not doing them. Like
No,
like
I think
cutting
you,
them
I think
or
you
like
motivate them with, like, for instance, I doubt the script said he grabs a woman, pushes her, she stands there, she screams.
right.
Like
he could have her push her out more, and then
exactly.
she could
She's in the elevator. She's terrified. She can't get back in because the doors are closing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you just change it slightly to make it a more believable scene. And
Sure,
suddenly
yeah.
it's better. Like, duh. Like
Yeah, I guess I won't say this is directed well. I think it's. I liked some of the cinematography. That's all I'll say
There's a few
about
good
it.
ideas. Like
I
when the
didn't like the cinematography either. I didn't like that either. I'll
That's
tell you
fine.
what, every single time somebody realizes anything, there's a tight little close-up on a dolly that rushes up to him kind of under their
Oh,
eye
yeah.
line 100 times in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very silly. Like, it just lacks imagination in every way.
Man, those,
sorry,
and those
I-
goddamn millennials.
They really make you mad, don't they?
Like,
It's
well, they're just
what?
they're pointless and they're bad actors.
Yeah,
It's. I just think. I think the
They're
I forgot
badly
the-
acted
Franklin?
characters. Yeah, Franklin.
Franklin. There's just nobody who could have made that work.
No, that's
Who
a
could have
that's
ever
an
made that
absurd
work?
is
character.
that the dude? That
Yeah.
his whole the whole bit was, hey, look, he's kind of girly. Like
He's a
he
weird
screams
little guy,
high pitched.
Well, it's
like,
it's
that
weird.
was
Like
it. Like, isn't this
he's
funny?
he's terrified of everything.
Yeah.
He sprays bug spray on himself and is trying to offer the mercenaries bug spray, which is not something he would do. A guy that's that
Yeah.
awkward and that terrified of
Yeah.
the situation, he wouldn't be completely oblivious to how out of place he was.
Yeah.
And then they get up to as soon as they get to the compound, and he has to like open the door and then work the computers. And for some reason, for 15 seconds that it takes him to do that, he's suddenly like authoritative and sassy.
yeah,
In that
Like, he
moment,
talks-
channeled
he
the
talks-
spirit of
yeah.
Nesri.
all over the goddamn place.
Yeah, like he talks back to Ted Levine, and then
Right.
he gets inside. He's like, I know exactly what I'm doing with this system that I've never seen before in my life because I work for a nonprofit with Claire. Like, he works at that fucking nonprofit, and then he can hack into this machine and just do whatever they need him to do.
That's how hackers work, man.
And then as soon as that's over with, he goes back to shrieking like an idiot and not
He
knowing
sure
what's
did.
going on for the rest of the film.
Pretty much.
Until he drugs Henry Wu for some reason.
Oh right,
Yeah, he,
Henry
like, murdered
Wu's
him.
in this.
No, the mercenary drags Wu away, so Wu will be back probably.
But they murder those
They
mercenaries.
murder those mercenaries. They're like,
100%.
oh, like she gets that like look on her face, like I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to let this raptor out that for some reason isn't killing her as she's attached to the cage.
And the mercenaries just had tasers. They were just like, hey, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa to them.
Yeah.
Like they weren't like, you're gonna fucking die like with guns.
And
They
then
were
the
like,
raptor-
hey now. And so they let a raptor out and murder them.
that mauls them to death, and in its fevered, chaotic, murderous mauling, it ruptures a tank of fucking hydrogen poison or whatever they called
God,
it.
that
It's like it's
poison.
hydrochloric
and then
poison.
manages to like find a way to Millennium Falcon its way out that window.
yeah,
And the room blows up.
It gets an Arnold Schwarzenegger jump away from an explosion.
They had
fuck?
several of those in this movie. They had that dirt ball like out of the like lava smoke.
Yeah, just
You know,
go-
like,
that was
oh,
a,
yeah.
that was a very silly shot.
They were all silly.
Like it's this
whole
it's
thing's
this-
silly.
Well, it's so far away too. Like it's like way far away. You see the entire like mountain like coastline and all the smoke, and then this little ball just goes like boop.
Why the
It was
hell?
the silliest thing.
Why the hell does the scowly Alan Rickman fucking headhunter, whatever? What's his name? Who's the actor?
Ted Levine.
Ted. Okay, fine. Why does Ted Levine collect teeth? Can anybody tell me why he
It's-
collects
it's
teeth?
so- no.
collects teeth. It's so he has a reason to open the raptor's
I
cage.
guarantee,
know,
I
but
guarantee
what?
they got to that scene and they're like, okay, we need to get this creature out. well, let's write a whole reason. Let's go back and add a couple shots of him collecting teeth of animals like a fucking maniac so that he'll go in after shooting this thing twice. That was, oh, God.
Like, wouldn't you have loved just another cut to
Also,
earlier in the film, and he just has all the teeth in his mouth?
Yeah.
He's just like, doing a dinosaur.
Yeah, he's Buffalo Bill. He's making himself a dinosaur
He's
suit.
making himself a dinosaur suit.
Oh, what a baffling character. The villains. What was
money to see me in a park? I'd pay money to see me in a park. I'd pay money hard.
I really think that's what he's doing with those teeth.
Yeah.
It must be.
You know?
What
Also, why did the
villains up to?
I don't know. Why did the two darts?
Money.
Why did the two darts have no effect on Werewolf Raptor whatsoever?
Yeah.
Genetics, man.
Yeah.
It's not how that works.
Whatever.
It has
According
to
to movies,
it has to do with body mass.
Which is why Chris Pratt should be dead, by the way.
I was they
he
show her
trained
pulling
him
it out with
dinosaur
with
dart?
like only half of it in there, but yeah, he should have been. That's a real missed opportunity, by the way.
Yeah.
When he can't move, I was like, oh, they could do something really interesting, like have the compies show up,
Right.
and he can't move.
The lava-
No, they just did a goofy lava flow, which could have even still been something, but they just handled it not well.
The lava scene, I was like, oh, that's a good idea that was badly executed. Like, they could have made that actually tense, and they made it like a goofy scene.
It was too close to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he had to like do the weird my arm's asleep thing.
Yeah, people were like laughing when it was happening. It was like,
No.
people shouldn't be laughing.
No to all of this.
Really?
Because all of it, because Hollywood should not be allowed to use lava.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is yet
We need
further
the
So
government
make it the
involved.
compies.
Yeah.
That would have been fine.
Make it the
Or the
compies.
compies.
Yeah.
They don't know how to use lava. They like lava's like always the blob. Every
Right.
movie that lava's in, it's the blob. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like semi fucking conscious and
Right,
like, you know,
yeah.
worming toward you. It's so dumb. I hate it.
He gets on the other side of a fucking fallen dead log and he's fine.
Yeah, that did it.
Like you're safe
That
from
did
the
it.
lava, bro.
Well, he sort of magically recovered his
Right.
physical
Yeah, like
abilities.
they're playing it real fast and loose with these tranks. Like he shoots a fucking werewolf raptor, which is like, 7 feet tall, probably about 500 pounds.
Yeah.
With two of these goddamn things.
I really wish they had gotten a little bit more creative with what the big bad monster is. And like,
right, because it's the same thing. Like
Yeah.
they're like the
It's
Indominus
just the
Rex,
Indominus Rex again.
is a mix between a raptor and a Tyrannosaurus.
Right.
They're like we combine the two most dangerous animals to make this animal, the Indoraptor. I'm like, it's the same thing. You just made a smaller one
That was a lot
and
of
gave
the-
it a mohawk.
yeah, gave it red eyes with black
Yeah.
skin.
Well,
you know,
most
like,
of this film was just things we've seen before mixed and matched. Like it was
Yeah.
a little bit of Jurassic World and then some of the Lost World.
I really think the auction is the most important thing in this movie. I really do. I think like
Well, all right. Here's the thing about the auction, and this is why I was saying, like, what did the
Well,
villains
that
want?
and the human clone.
Because they have
Human
Wu
clone's a
there,
big
right?
deal.
that's shrugged to me at this point. Human clone,
I did not expect the Jurassic Park franchise to go in that direction.
but it's so
Oh, they've been talking
evidently
about that.
clear. I mean,
They've been
like,
talking about that for a while.
and we did that after hours about this. Like how many years ago?
Yeah,
Like,
but
it
that's
was-
always like a
right.
There was the original Jurassic Park 3, I want to say, or the original 4.
It's gonna have
was going to be
dinosaur
like
human
dinosaur
hybrids,
human
yeah.
soldiers.
Oh God.
Which, yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's
you'll still get that, Dave.
Maybe there's a version where that would have been good.
It's just going to be Turok
I'm
Dinosaur
sure we're gonna
Hunter
get
before
that.
we're all done. Like
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
what we're looking at.
yeah.
But the shit. Oh yeah, the bad guys, like, they have Henry Wu there, and he's like doing the genetic stuff, and he seems to be like, no, you can't sell this dinosaur. We're gonna sell it as a weapon. Which again from Jurassic World, they did it again, where they're like, we're gonna sell them as weapons, and they did the thing where they're like, it's been done before, and then he cites a bunch of like.
The most
examples.
recent thing he cited was 80 years ago.
Exactly. And it was like, yes, we used to do that. And then we later see when Chris Pratt shoots it like 3 times, it's like, oh, who would have known? It's vulnerable to bullets.
Right.
Like,
I don't
you
understand
got-
what
well,
the
you
plan
got-
Why
is.
were you
Well,
going to
no,
put this on a
look,
battlefield?
When Blue starts mauling one of Ted Levine's men, he shoots it. The guy shoots it one time
And
with
that's
a
enough.
handgun, and that thing's life is in danger
Yeah.
for the next hour.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They
blood transfusion from a T-Rex.
Yeah.
It's a blood transfusion from a T-Rex. Jesus, how did we
so
not mention that?
fucking
yet?
dumb. Yeah.
And like, it's just like that raptor's just fine with people now. Like,
Yeah.
it's just fine with the good guys. It's like, no. Like, at least, even like,
Oh my God, where he's
Again-
like, Blue, come home with me. Or he
yeah,
says,
that
come
was,
with me.
Come with me.
The raptor's
We'll
like,
live.
I can't.
We'll live together on the run. And like, yeah, Blue's like, They would never understand.
Honestly, if that dog had learned, if that raptor had learned how to talk at the very end of that movie, would that have been that out of place?
Not really.
That wouldn't
But
have
like,
been that
and, like
okay.
at least I can say, at least for Jurassic World, it was like tense when like the kid falls in the cage and he has to go in there and be like, stop the animals, because it's still a raptor. Like, it's not like
by the end of that,
it's not
it's
like
not.
his
By the
pal.
end of that, it's his pal.
But like in this one, it just sort of like is cool with everyone he's cool with.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Right.
not what this is.
Right, they don't have posses.
well, I
No.
mean, again, they threw it out at the end of the first Jurassic World, and even more here, where it's like, hey, remember when the dinosaurs are like dangerous? Like they're not.
They're just
they have
goofy.
they have to like build a new dinosaur for it to be dangerous.
T-Rex is just a
and
stupid
it's like,
asshole.
Yeah,
in
and
this
it's
film.
like they were already dangerous.
Kinda.
Yeah,
Like
just a
the-
lumbering dickhead
At
in
no
this movie.
point does like you feel like
He's
a
still the
good
best,
guy
though.
is,
Oh, yeah, he's the best.
might be hurt because you're like, no, dinosaurs only eat bad guys. It's like apparently in their nature now.
Yeah, not a single
they
person.
only eat henchmen.
I mean,
and
not a
villains.
not a single person. Discounting the first scene, not a single person is killed by a dinosaur until the third act, and it's all bad people.
Like remember in Jurassic Park where Samuel Jackson gets killed because it's
Remember in
random
Jurassic
kids, or
Park,
Muldoon gets
where
killed.
characters
Oh, yeah.
you cared
Yeah.
about got killed.
Yeah,
Even that lawyer.
yeah. Even the lawyer's
Even
not the
Gennaro.
worst
He
guy.
didn't deserve to die.
And so yeah, okay,
He
going
was
back.
on the shitter.
Yeah,
Real sad for him.
and going back to the idea of the villains and their motivation. Because again, in Jurassic Park, even like the assholes, you sort of understand.
Yeah.
Like the lawyer is afraid, he's running.
Right.
In this one, like the villains, they have Henry Wu, and they're going to do the clone stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then they're also like auctioning dinosaurs at a mansion.
For what?
So it's kind of like, which is it? Are you a Bond villain? Are you a Bond villain locking the villains in cages like, we don't need them anymore? Which they don't kill them or anything. They just leave them in the cages like,
Right,
stick
yeah.
around,
Like,
enjoy the auction.
I was
like
really
it's that.
I was because like Rafe Spall comes up there and is talking to him, and he's like, I think Ted Levine asked, "What do you want me to do?" And he's like, "As far as I'm concerned, they burned up on the island." So
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, they're gonna like feed him to the dinosaurs or something.
That'd
Or
be
do
awesome.
something. No,
Nope,
they
just
just
leave him in
leave
the cage.
And so
Leave
it's
him in
like,
the cage,
which
fine.
are they? Are they a tech company like doing like trying to reclone dinosaurs? In that case, don't have your facilities at a mansion, at an evil mansion, at a Bond
they're
villain.
breaking
Like have
several-
real facilities. Where
several
you have
international
actual cages.
laws right now.
Yeah,
It's
have
like a legit
different
company.
island or something. Yeah, are you
Right.
a legit cloning genetics company, or are you a crazy guy kidnapping dinosaurs?
They're both.
Have it in the
Exactly.
center of the volcano that's going off.
Yeah.
Which is what it really should have been.
Yeah.
Right.
Might as
Incidentally, I laughed out loud at this point in the theater. It's one of many times I was a real dick. When she Bryce Dallas Howard or whatever the fuck gets out of the car and like there's that shot when she's like really odd, and then you realize she's odd at the fucking house that she showed up
Yeah.
to. And
Yes.
you're like, what, have you never seen a mansion before?
Seen a fucking house
Like,
before?
have you not just watched it on TV, man?
Well, no, because you lean over and said to him, he's like, well, that's the seeing the dinosaur shot.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you wasted it on a house.
Yeah, you wasted it on a house.
Oh my god,
She
you're
was
right.
like really blown away
You're
by
right.
it.
She
you
should have
know?
been looking at a dinosaur.
Yeah.
They should have just cut to the music right there and showed it with the house.
Or like the mansion should have
Yeah.
been shaped like a dinosaur or something.
I
Like,
mean, we're supposed to think it's a dinosaur. It's this it's this impossibly giant old
Right.
house with a old John Hammond, James Cromwell, who gets suffocated.
he's really-
he gets smothered to death off screen by Rafe Spall, and
Yeah.
then his
That's crazy, by the way.
I know
This guy's just murdering people like it's no
he doesn't give a
thing.
shit.
Yeah.
Like,
And
what?
like for not that much money.
no.
Like he's selling the dinosaurs for like 10 million a piece.
And
It's like how much you run the InGen, like the genetics company. How much could you fucking make from that? Like 100 times that much money.
again, are
Yeah.
you a
What are you
crazy
doing?
person
Like, he's
selling
just a
dinosaurs,
maniac.
or are you the head of a major genetics
Yeah,
company?
he's just a
like one
lunatic.
or the other. Because like again, in the Lost World, they had the John Hammond's nephew,
Yeah.
who's like a sniveling corporate guy, and it was
Right.
like, so he's evil, but he's not. I'm going to smother someone with a pillow. Evil. He's
No,
a
when
coward.
they rescue
So-
Ian Malcolm and everybody like from the trailer and like bring them with them
Yeah,
back to the
so-
mainland. They're like, I'm not gonna murder you.
If this film was like a rich crazy guy like Gary Oldman and Hannibal, who's just like I'm going to like
Yeah.
kidnap, I'm going to hire mercenaries and go, and I have no authority, like that would have made a little more sense.
Yes.
But this
Having
didn't-
him be both was crazy.
yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Also,
It was weird that nobody ever asked those questions. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
During
like-
production,
like-
you mean?
Yes. Why
Or-
wouldn't you ask them?
Yeah.
You know?
it's the one other thing I wanted to point out about the scene where Rafe Spall smothers James Cromwell to death.
Oh my god!
Is it shows he has a John Hammond
hearing
cane.
it out loud.
He has a John Hammond cane.
Yes, they
had
canes.
matching
Oh,
canes.
he sure does.
They got matching canes.
The man's in a wheelchair. Why does he even need a cane?
Why
But
does he
continue
have?
on.
Why does he have that cane? Because we're led to believe that they started this genetics project together, and then they were split over a disagreement over how it should be utilized. And then we learned it's because James Cromwell was obsessed with cloning his dead daughter.
Right.
Which you wouldn't get her DNA from a fucking mosquito in amber.
Should it have a finger? Should it have a human finger in there?
Yeah. It should be like the top bone from her finger.
Right.
But like we see his amber cane fall over, and the amber shatters on the wood floor. And
So we know he's dead.
I leaned over to Dave and said, "Amber is a stone."
Yeah, that is not how Amber.
Remember in the first movie where we see them drilling into amber because it's
lindo.
fossilized rock?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to break on your hardwood floor, man.
Yeah.
Movie is so bad.
It's a really, really bad movie.
Like, so much of it is ridiculous.
I really hope I'm proven wrong by Monday. That, like, I hope.
that it flops.
Yeah, I hope
There's a
the
chance.
news is like, oh, Jurassic World franchise is in danger. Is it gonna like? It deserves to flop, and audiences
this movie
deserve
does
better
deserve
than
to
this.
flop. It's a very
And-
bad. It's a very cynically bad film.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, like, people wanna go see a Jurassic Park movie and they want to have a good time, but like, you deserve better. Everybody out
you
there, you
really
deserve
do.
a better film.
Fuck, I would say just stay at if you really want to watch Jurassic World, just stay at home and watch the fucking first one. You're better off.
Or The Lost World, or
watch
Jurassic
The
Park
Lost World,
3.
Jurassic
All
Park.
three are better options.
I don't.
They're not much better options.
I think
but
this.
they're
I think this
technically
movie
better.
is exactly as good as Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, but at least Jurassic Park 3, like,
I saw
I
that
guess
once
made
in the
me
theater.
laugh. Like the talking raptor.
And-
like
Oh,
at
it
least
did talk.
at least there was dumb
Oh,
moments.
It's a
that's
dream
where I got
sequence,
that
but yeah,
idea.
it's a dream sequence. But
I would also say it's
Oh.
probably shot better. There's like the pterodactyl sequence is actually kind of eerie.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. It's Joe Johnston.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
like
would
the
argue that
Spinosaurus
it's
attack
still a
on the
better
boat is actually
film.
kind of cool, and
Yeah, it's just it's still a bad movie.
It's a bad
just-
movie, but
This was garbage.
This
thing
is-
was garbage.
this is
yes.
steaming
like
pile of
I
garbage.
couldn't be more dismissive in a theater, like without having I was so angry at it that I was like being a real dick.
I can't
Yeah.
I seriously, like I said at the time, this movie makes fucking Jurassic World look like goddamn Godfather, because it's like that's how starved I guess we are for quality blockbusters.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, well, at least Jurassic World's fucking coherent.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it does make you think that blockbusters are in real trouble.
yeah,
Because it's like, at some point, somebody's going to make a real blockbuster like that's good,
Yeah.
and it's going to be like scales falling from our eyes. It's
Yeah.
like we're just all going to wake up and be like, oh,
Oh right.
like
Yeah.
walk out of the fucking the vat or whatever they've been keeping our brains in all these years.
Yeah.
well, it'll be like this may not be the greatest example, but it'll be like when the first Iron Man came out. You know,
Yeah, that was a pretty good
people were
movie.
like, wow, this is really good. We should
Yeah.
turn this into an unstoppable machine.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do get worried about a good movie though because of that exact thing.
And that's the problem, is that like we can't treat the symptoms, like we have to treat the core disease, which is that if someone makes a good movie, then it's just be like,
Franchising, yeah.
oh yeah, let's just make 10 more of these,
Right.
which is why the government needs to get involved and stop this
Take
once
our
and for all.
blockbusters.
No, there needs to be some sort of, we need to reward originality more, so that people, when they make a good movie, they maybe make a sequel and then they move on.
I think people would be happy if movies cost a little less money to
Yes.
make.
That
Like
would
I don't
be-
think the expense involved in making this movie was needed.
No.
The budgets of movies continually
Yeah.
confound me.
Right, which is to say that one of the reasons why original movies don't go out and make a splash in the world is that people don't want to invest a lot of money in a
Yeah.
thing they don't
They
know
don't
will
know
get
it's
money
going to hit.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a, and then there's stuff like the internet and Netflix and
Right.
there's a lot of reasons, but the studios are not making a good case for themselves either, and maybe it's a self-perpetuating thing where
like,
it's just as we continue to devalue films, they're gonna have to keep doing this.
So we settled on Jurassic Park 3 is actually a better film than Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Yes,
Jurassic Park 3 started filming without a script.
yeah, that sounds
true?
about right.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
true.
What were they shooting? Just fucking
just
shots of
Ideas.
Just animatronics.
They just made some dinosaurs. Let's see what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
so
it was a real Kubrick on
William H. Macy
yeah.
was really thrilled about that. Showed me like, so no script, huh?
Sounds like I picked a good one.
Yeah. A friend of mine once said about that, he's like, William H. Macy must have been up there. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You know, on Fargo, we knew what the movie was when we started filming it.
I mean, he's talked about it before. People talked to him, and he was like, I remember his answer was just like, sometimes, you make the films you're really passionate about, and you believe in, and other times your daughter has to go to college. And so it's where it's like, the Jurassic Park 3, like, fuck, yeah,
It's
sure.
not. I'm not holding Willem.
No,
I'm not
none of us are.
Him
Responsible for Jurassic Park 3.
Like I firmly believe this. Actors will show up and give you as much passion as the people making the movie.
Right. And these
want
aren't
them to,
these aren't bad actors in this film.
I think Chris Pratt again showed that he's very talented because he made a lot out of that really poor part. Like I thought he was good in this.
They
movie.
didn't make him, and I guess this is. I'm gonna say this is a good decision.
Yeah.
But they didn't make him funnier because the first Jurassic World, one of the weirdest things was like you have a Chris
He wasn't
Pratt,
really
and you're gonna
funny,
make him
right.
like. And then in this one they didn't too, and it's like I'm kind of like that because it's like, well, let's give Chris Pratt a chance to play other characters that isn't just Star-Lord.
I thought he still had like he was funny, but not in a comedy way, like in a sort of like likable hunk does likable thing here.
Yeah.
I don't think Bryce Howard is a good actress. At least no, that's too harsh. I didn't think she was great in this movie.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen her in movies. I thought she was good in The Help.
Yeah, she can be
I
good.
can see The Help. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
She
fair enough.
she plays a real dickhead in The Help.
Fair enough.
This movie is. I felt like people did as good as anybody.
Oh, there's a
do.
thought that's been bugging me since Jurassic World, and I meant to just tweet it, but I can't even. I need to search and make sure I haven't already tweeted this. But what fucking mosquito bit that Mosasaurus? Where'd they get that goddamn DNA from?
Yeah,
Good question.
that
Where does Crococeratops get its origin
it
from?
might have been like on the beach, like sunbathing, and a mosquito bit. I mean,
That's a bold mosquito.
We're going back to the Jurassic Park. Is all rested on a really silly idea, which is mosquito blood.
It's not that. It's a pretty clever idea. It's neat. It doesn't work because DNA has a half-life.
Right.
Right. I mean,
like it degrades.
It's definitely clever. It's just
clever.
Yeah, you don't want to think about it for.
It's
Right,
good
yeah.
enough for a movie premise.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's acceptable.
But
I don't
yes.
know, according to movie logic, even
where the Mosasaurus comes
where
from.
the hell that Crococeratops was obtained.
Where'd you guys find this?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing about the ending, and I want to encourage people as much as possible to just not see the third one. The ending is basically there's a handful of dinosaurs out there, and they're like, what's going to happen? That we're going to blow them up. Is what's
they're
gonna
gonna get
Right.
shot by the highway patrol.
Yeah, it's not an
That's what's gonna
ecosystem
happen.
out there. They're standalone. They're not going to breed. Like they're not. Life isn't going to find a way because there's only like one of each species out
Well,
there.
yeah, it ends with a shot of Blue running up over a canyon, looking down at like a suburban city sprawl.
What looked like Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it goes like, "Rah!" And then the credits was like, "What's going to happen?" I'm like, "He's going to get shot by the cops."
Yeah. Yeah, that
this
shot was
movie-
like the opening of Predator 2. It
Right.
reminded me
This
of...
movie dared us to want deadly predators to run free.
Yeah.
Like it was like, no man,
and that was-
if 15 lions got free and were running around like in the city, kill them all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think 1 second about that.
That was the part where they're going to let
Yeah.
them out because the gas is killing them.
Right.
And we think Bryce Dallas Howard is going to do it. And I was like, are you really going to make her
She's
this
a
much of a
maniac.
villain?
Yeah.
And like she has to think about it. But the idea where they're like, but they're going to die. It's like, well, they're going to die out there too, you realize.
Right.
Like they're not going to
And
just
having
go
her
free.
be so possessed of that notion, like
Yeah.
they have to be alive, they have to be allowed to set free. That is completely different character for what that
Yeah.
character was in the first movie.
And
But again, they're not-
different
they're
than
just
the
gonna be shot.
thesis of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we say that?
And
Yeah.
going all the way back, there's another island. I
Yeah,
can't stress
right.
this enough.
Right.
Those aren't the last dinosaurs.
Right. There's a whole ecosystem that's currently alive on
that the movie
Lost
has
World.
chosen to completely forget or ignore
Well,
for
they
the sake of
mention
this.
it.
Do they?
They mention Isla Sorna briefly.
I got
So
what
I
is
think
what
Jeff
is-
I think Jeff Goldblum mentions it in his speech. It's baffling.
I
What
got another question.
Is the conflict then? Like they treat
I
these
don't know.
animals like they're the last of the dinosaurs,
That's what we're supposed to believe.
but they're not.
by omission, we're
Do
supposed to
they
believe it.
say that other island blew
No.
up?
Nope.
No,
Yeah,
they just assume we don't know about it. That's what they did, right?
But we don't. We do know about it.
You do.
No, people know about it. Like the people in the movie know about it.
I would
and then
argue they
us-
don't. I would argue they don't know about it. I would argue the movie assumes by deafening
the
silence.
Lost World, like specifically.
I know.
All right.
I'm saying that I'm arguing that by
They're rewriting
sheer
it.
silence, yeah, that's what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of like Jaws: The Revenge doesn't take anything from Jaws 3 into account.
right.
I think that's what happened
It's
here.
exactly
I think
that.
So
like,
they're
that
ignoring the
doesn't
Lost
exist.
World.
Apparently,
Kinda.
although Malcolm mentions Isla Sorna, so who the fuck? This
See,
movie's a mess.
I know people don't like the Lost World, but I would
I
say
did not like it.
this is like if Terminator Genesis, which did ignore a lot of the old Terminator films,
Right.
it's like if it ignored. Oh no, it did do this. It rewrote Terminator 2.
Yeah.
And like its whole premise was like, remember Terminator 2? Well, fuck all that. And it's like, we love that movie, right?
It's a little
like,
bit. It's a
you know
little bit
that
more.
movie's better than this.
It's a little bit more egregious for Terminator
Yes.
Genesis because it's
Yes,
like
because
Terminator
the
2
last-
is like one of the best movies
Yes.
ever made, and it's like fuck Terminator 2. You
Yeah.
didn't see what we got. We're like,
But
no, we
this,
like that one.
This still is like, okay, forget Lost World. It's like, well, Spielberg did direct it. Michael
Right.
Crichton wrote it.
Wrote it.
Like, whether or not you like it, it has more of a right to be fucking canon than this piece of shit.
Yeah,
movie.
like
don't
yeah.
discount the better movies.
And it's the
for your
same
shitty one.
essential storyline. It's like
Yeah.
the same basic storyline. So it's like if the Lost World was the best way, I guess, to describe it would be as if the Lost World was made by a real piece of shit.
Right.
Just sat
Yeah.
down and was like just shat all over the movie.
I want to punch this movie.
Yeah.
I wish you would have done it. I really would have liked to see that.
Me punch the movie? Like, get up and punch the screen?
Just slowly walk down to the screen, just go like,
I got to tell you,
and then just turn around and leave.
there's a greater than zero chance that he gets more cheers than the rest of the things in that movie got. Way greater than zero chance of that.
It'll be like the end of An Officer and a Gentleman.
Oh,
This movie didn't make me mad. I know, like it has every right to make me mad the way that most but it wasn't good enough to make me mad. You know
This
what I
movie
mean?
just made me feel tired.
all right. I don't get mad at the new Star Wars. I don't get mad at a lot of like movies that took nostalgia and twisted it or did something that I don't agree with. For some reason, both of these movies, I walked out of Jurassic World, and I wanted to walk out of this one. If it weren't for this podcast, I would have. Something about this makes me furious.
I don't. Cause it's the same thing, so that's interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe you like Jurassic Park more than you like
I was
Star
about to
Wars.
say, here's the reason why, is I grew up playing Jurassic Park with the dolls, playing the video games, playing the board games with
Right.
my friend in his basement. Star Wars I never really gave a shit about. And this is the same Terminator. I love Terminator, and so, but the sequels piss me off a little less. I think it's because Terminator is fundamentally just a
Bryce
slasher
Dallas
film.
Howard is in Terminator Salvation.
I liked both Star Wars and Jurassic Park. Star Wars has been sullied for me for 20 years, though, so I don't.
That's the
So
other thing.
I'm
Maybe
ready
the
for Solo to be
prequels-
bad,
Yeah, the
you know?
prequels kind of made us like prepared for this.
Right, I didn't think Jurassic Park needed to continue after the first movie, even when I was 13 when it came out.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
like, I never thought that.
I
I
thought-
still don't.
Jurassic Park: Lost World. I was done with that. Like that was fine.
Lost World I liked, but I could still recognize it as a very club-footed sequel.
Yeah. But it was still like, and it's again same with Terminator 1 and 2. It was like, okay, we're good.
That's it,
Obviously,
yeah.
we're done. And then when they started attacking, when they both around the same time, they were like, let's make a third. And it was like, why are you doing this?
Everybody thought Jurassic Park 3 is a bad idea. I think what makes Jurassic World, the series, so frustrating is that it's consciously, overtly about being a franchise. The narratives are about being a franchise.
It's true, yeah.
Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want the commercial thing about movies to be the subject of movies. I hate that.
Yeah,
That's like the only thing. Please don't make movies about that. I don't want to hear.
I won't.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, do you want to hear the story of how movies are a franchise in
No.
your movie
Not
franchises?
particularly, no.
That's fucking
I don't wanna
garbage.
hear that shit.
Unless
Right.
it's like Charlie Kaufman writing something.
Charlie
It's all
Kaufman,
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
and
he gets
meta.
free pass.
Yeah.
for sure. But like,
Let Charlie
he should've
Kaufman
written
write a
this.
Jurassic Park
Yeah.
movie. It would be crazy.
he wouldn't.
so good.
If he-
Nah. But I mean,
You
what
know.
if?
But what if? But,
It would have been
but what if he
about a
didn't?
writer who's been tasked with writing Jurassic Park.
It would have been about
and
a
then he writes
middle-aged guy
himself
who really
into
doesn't
it.
want to write Jurassic
Yeah.
Park.
I think it'd be about him, like just him and a dinosaur, like going off and like doing a Butch Cassidy Sundance Kid kind of thing, you know? Just
And
them
the
against the
dinosaur
world.
talks, sure.
Yeah.
We almost do
Why
that at the
wouldn't
end of
that
this movie.
happen? Yeah. Well, we haven't had a dinosaur talking in a long time, by the way.
Not since Jurassic Park 3.
Or since what was that movie with Whoopi Goldberg?
Theodore Rex.
Theodore Rex.
Theodore, that dinosaur talked, didn't
Yeah.
it?
Sure did.
So, we're overdue. That's where we're going.
Thanks to 7
Yeah.
underpaid puppeteers, that dinosaur talk.
That really got me. Well done. I really enjoyed that.
Seven really bright-eyed
7
Henson
poor
Studio
jackasses
graduates
dressed in all
getting paid
black.
slave wages to
Incidentally,
manipulate this puppet.
that mansion, I just know, that mansion is more decked out than the fucking White House.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, the bad guy holds all of his meetings in the dinosaur bone
right
room.
in the museum.
Yeah.
It had a very Night at
that
the Museum
that
vibe.
where he knows the little girl runs around and hides and
course.
spends
Yeah.
all her time in.
If you were a child living in this house, that's the one place you would always be.
I would
Where the
live
giant
in that
dinosaur
room.
skeletons are. Come on,
I would never leave that room.
Right. That's
Yeah.
That's where the finale of that movie should have happened. By the way,
It sort of did. When
Yeah.
the werewolf raptor
the moment-
unceremoniously falls on the Triceratops.
Yeah,
That
the
part
moment
was
they
fine.
the moment they got like on their roof, it was like, oh, he's gonna fall through.
but again,
the thing,
getting on the roof,
stupid thing,
just conjures. Oh yeah, this is a monster movie like King Kong. Like,
right,
That's what I hate. I don't want Jurassic Park's not a monster movie.
right.
Like Jurassic Park's not about monsters.
It's about animals,
Right. It's about animals we never got to see.
Yeah.
That we're all
And-
fascinated with, and somehow through the magic of movies they
And
showed
it's,
up.
and it's about
Yeah.
chaos. It's about the
Right.
idea that these
Right.
animals are unpredictable and don't belong here. They're not evil. They're not like these villainous monsters.
They don't smirk and wink
Yeah.
and like use their teeth as bait.
Yeah, they don't talk to each other.
How did he know that was going to work?
Have that raptor know? Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a werewolf raptor.
Also, like the lock was right there. Here's what I thought. I thought it was just going to like reach down and open its own cage.
Yeah,
This is going to be like a really petty thing. I just feel like they're not getting that creative with the new dinosaurs' roars. Remember
Yeah.
the first time you heard the T-Rex roar?
well, yeah, that was
That blew
amazing.
your
that
mind.
roar is
The
iconic.
sound design in that movie is incredible.
And
Yes.
again, that's they knew that in the Lost. Well, Spielberg knew that in the Lost World, where when they first do the T-Rex and that he's in the high hide, and she's like he's reassuring his daughter like, oh no, this is nothing like before. And then you hear that high pitched fucking roar.
And you're like,
I
oh,
remember
shit.
getting chills when I first heard that just roar in the distance because it's like
they build him up again. You
Yeah.
hear the roar first, then you see the trees moving. Like they know to.
They know that the
Fucking
T-Rex,
Spielberg knows what he's doing.
Yeah, they know that the T-Rex is a big fucking deal, and
And in
like
this, they
it's
just
the
kind
money.
of
yeah.
shit it out. Like here's T-Rex stumbling around
Now
like
he's
his
just-
shrunk
now he's-
grandfather.
yeah,
This
he's
movie
just like a
assumes
ca-
we don't care anymore.
Right.
It assumes we don't care because it didn't know how to make us care. That's the first one too. Again, going back to the idea, they were like, let's face it, people don't like care about dinosaurs anymore. It's like,
Fuck you.
no,
yes, I do.
you sat down and tried to write a Jurassic World, and you couldn't figure out how to make dinosaurs interesting. Like it's on them. Like it's so cynical.
I would say it's even more cynical than that because they don't care about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Well, then don't make the dinosaur movie.
yeah.
let
but
somebody
then they
who
won't
does
make a
make it.
shitload of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let somebody who cares make it.
Somebody who cares.
Yeah.
Make it.
You guys looking forward to the third one? That's going to be directed by Colin Trevorrow again.
It might actually be better than this
Yeah.
piece of
What
shit.
scares me is
I
like,
mean, he wrote this one.
I know he did,
He's
but,
gonna
like-
write the next one, and
well, what scares me really is like, I mean, I know that's possible. Is that if this thing makes a lot of money, that suddenly we'll be sending fucking Quaron or some person like that
yeah,
to make this next Jurassic World movie, and I don't want that. I don't think this franchise deserves to be elevated.
oh yeah.
You know,
I mean, this is
No.
a lot of the problems with like good directors and indie directors and foreign directors having to come do these stuff. Is it's like, man, they could be doing something way better with their time.
Right. If we're gonna franchise,
So I
something-
guess in that sense, good that Colin Trevorrow is doing this third
Right,
one
we can
because
bury it.
yeah,
Right.
we don't. He's not. It's not a waste.
agreed.
Maybe I just want to punch him.
You're getting kind of punch happy these days.
I'm getting really punchy, really
Yeah,
punchy.
Yeah, you got a lot of punches stored
Yeah.
up in there
Yeah,
for sure.
threat and violence.
I think that's enough.
I think that's enough.
Yeah,
I'm done.
we were pretty mad the whole time.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
I turned and looked like when that teeth grabbing thing happened because there was I just want everybody to know there was a moment where this guy sneaks into the cage to steal the fucking werewolf raptor's teeth.
Yeah.
And everybody was confused for like 15 seconds about what was going to happen.
Yeah, the whole
Why would
audience
he go
was
in
like,
there?
what are you, what?
And I like leaned over hard enough that like I'm sure 7 or 8 rows of people saw me, and I was like, he's stealing his teeth, Dave. He's going to take his teeth. And Dave got instantly furious.
Yeah.
He's making his necklace.
Dave went to a 10 in anger. Like he folded his fucking arms and like
I
sank
fucking
into the
hate
chair
it
with rage.
so much.
It was a really neat moment.
What a world-class piece of shit film this was.
Yeah.
Yeah.